There's a story I wanted to mention last week, but, we were kind of distracted. That I wanted to talk about. And are you ready to talk about some, do you want to hear about a story about some dogs and COVID and the lockdown?
Those three words are not leading to positive places, but I'll tell
especially
you what,
not when
we'll
you
go there
can,
anyway.
Especially not when you can see my face as I say it. So, during lockdown, a lot of people adopted pets. Now, that is a statistic that we don't even need to explore. Everybody knows someone who got a dog during lockdown.
I got a dog during the pandemic, yeah.
You're the perfect example. You got one. Plenty of people have done it, and it was a done thing. People just getting dogs. They're like, fuck it, I'm inside all day. I want a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a dog for companionship. But then, people stopped working from home. But people still got these dogs. And Lucas, what's the thing about dogs? They always get told over here. I'm not sure what it is in America. Maybe someone in chat can let us know, what if it's the same, just life lesson you get given. But it's every year around Christmas time, you get told the same thing by charities that look after dogs. And what is it, Lucas?
Dogs aren't just for Christmas.
Yeah, a dog is for life, not for Christmas. Yeah. And maybe it's the same in America. Maybe they have a different motto for it. But it is ingrained in everyone in the UK from pretty much the moment you are able to read and observe things in your surroundings. Do not get a fucking dog if you're not intending to look after it for the rest of its life. That is your fucking responsibility. It's a life that you are taking on to care for.
It is, and that is, as you say, something. Every single holiday time, it's ingrained in our minds, through campaigns of dogs are for life, not just for a Christmas present.
They are not a flight of fancy. It's something you are committed to look after. And I'm guessing you experienced this when you adopted Cade, where you are told you better fucking look after this dog. We're giving it to you under the proviso, on the proviso, you will look after this thing. This is your responsibility now.
Yeah, 100%. And Jenna and I had been looking to get a dog for a couple of years, but we were living in flats and it wasn't allowed. And we moved to a flat where someone below us had a dog. So eventually we just got the courage up to ask for a dog. And it happened to be during the pandemic. And that all occurred during that. But, our intention before all this had been to get one.
Yeah.
But the amount of times we got dirty looks when it was how old are they? It's a few months old, 6 months old. You get, lockdown puppy, is it? Yeah.
It's no, it's my fucking dog.
But no,
Lucas,
I intended to get a dog. But yeah, plenty of people got a dog during lockdown, not thinking about what the fuck happens after lockdown.
Well, Lucas, it's funny you should mention that because there is a very depressing statistic out there that pounds. Someone mentioned it in chat, in fact, that pounds are now being filled with dogs that people bought during lockdown or at the height of COVID and now don't want. And you know what? That's one story. That's awful. That's annoying. It's frustrating. To hear. But people are gonna people. People are gonna be pricks. People are gonna be selfish assholes. Mm-hmm. Do you know what is weird though? The idea of someone telling you that they did that. That's the thing, because if someone adopting a dog and then getting rid of it when it inconveniences them, that's one thing. But wouldn't it be weird if someone told you that they did that?
Maybe if they sent it to a rescue centre or they got another family to adopt it, and they were explaining, look, it was a bit much, I didn't realise, kind of thing.
But for them to just say I didn't want it anymore and I got rid of it, that would be a weird thing for them to mention in conversation.
It would be, yeah.
It'd be an even weirder thing for someone to publicly post on social media, right?
I mean, you would think so. I'm at that point with social media where everything's got to be posted, hasn't it?
Yeah, but would it be even weirder than that? To not just post it on social media, but to write an article about it for a website, which you then publish under your own name and then share online. Would that be weird?
Not even weird, that's just straight up horrible.
Yeah, and then, Lucas, let's just take it one step further. It's not that you gave the dog away, it's that you put it down.
Right.
So I have here, this is an article, and I'm going to name the person because fuck them. This is, because they posted this publicly. This is Madeline Bliss, or Byliss, at Madeline Byliss, on Twitter. And they have it here for Slate.com. I adopted a pandemic dog, then I had to put her down. I learned I'm far from alone. And this is not one of those cases where it's just a really bad headline to entice you to click the article. I read the article. The summation of the story is I adopted a dog with like issues that I was made aware of prior to the fact, could not handle, and then got the dog put down.
Yeah, not even just I got it sent back. Like I returned the dog. I put it back up for adoption. Just I killed it.
I killed it. And then the article is interviewing other people who did the same thing, and for some inexplicable reason, decided I'm going to use my real name and just announce this to the world online that I adopted an animal and then killed it because I didn't want it anymore because it was too much to handle. And even weirder is if you go to the original tweet, which I don't recommend doing unless you want to get really annoyed. There's a bunch of people publicly retweeting it, quote tweeting it, saying, yeah, I did the same thing. It's like, why would you put this out there? It's like, honestly, it's one thing to do it. You're a horrible person to do it. But
you're a horrible person to do it. But
I don't know how to describe someone who does it and then writes about it, profits from that article, and then proudly shares it online under their own name as if people are going to agree with them. I don't know how to describe that because that's like an entire extra step of awfulness.
I don't know what to say. Like, I fuck those people. Like, I really wanted a dog for 6 months to keep me preoccupied so I could murder it afterwards.
And it's like, oh, it was really difficult to look after, but you were aware of that, right? Oh, yeah, but then it was more difficult than I anticipated.
Okay. Right. Did you find a suitable family? Did you give it back to the rescue centre? No, I just thought it'd be easier to kill it.
Yeah.
That's too much effort to let the rescue centre have it back.
It's only a life.
Another owner.
It's only a life that I took responsibility for. But yeah, isn't that... I don't know, that's not a fun story, Lucas, but again, it's one of those things where it is darkly fascinating. You know, that's the top... I guess that's like, you know, the trend of today's podcast, like darkly fascinating to have a glimpse into the life of somebody who, one, thinks that's okay, and two, just proudly admits it online. Because I can't imagine, you know, doing that in a conversation with someone. Like, if someone said that in a conversation with friends, you'd think it was weird. You'd be like, oh my God, you did what?
Yeah, if one of my friends turned around to me and was like, yeah, I adopted a puppy during lockdown, it's like, okay, good for you, like, fair enough. And, oh yeah, it was a dog, like, it was a rescue, it had some problems. Oh, right, okay, like, good for you for getting a rescue dog. Like, a lot of people can't handle that. Oh, well, I couldn't either. So you gave it back, you got it, like, rescued by another family, right? It's like, no, I just killed it.
Yeah, I had it put down. It was too much effort.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, if someone said that to me, like, in a conversation, I'd be horrified.
Yeah.
But then, like, the extra step of then doing it and then publicly announcing that you did it, expecting to get sympathy.
Apparently, some people did give them sympathy.
Yeah, and that's the step that, like, to me, is like, I cannot comprehend that person's, like, you know, way of thinking and looking at the world where they do that and legitimately think they're going to get sympathy for it and then do.
And I just want to point out in chat, someone in my chat says, like, you know, going back to the thing of, like, a dog isn't a Christmas present, a dog is for life.
Yep.
They just said, like, we're told having a dog is like having a kid, which it is. Because
it's like having a kid who's
choosing
moldable.
to, you know, have this responsibility of another life. And to then throw away that responsibility and just be like, fuck it was too much effort.
It's the same with all pets.
Yeah.
It's the same with, like, all pets, like even a fucking fish.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're going to get a fucking fish, you should be able to look after that fish. You should be like, you know, it's your responsibility to provide for that animal.
Yep.
And I just wanted to bring that up because I didn't have a chance last week, and it's darkly fascinating that there's people out there like that, where, like, they wrote that article, they sent it to an editor, the editor read it, thought it was fine, and they put it on the website, and then they go and post it on Twitter. And the thing is that annoys me is, I need to mention this is a professional writer, their fucking tweet is misspelled and has, like, lowercase I instead of, like, a capitalized one. It's like the fucking iPhone does that on, like, by itself.
Yeah.
So you had to put effort into spelling that wrong.
But yeah, so right, they not only
That's the
murdered
thing, like,
an innocent dog,
that's what I
they
mean.
monetize their murdered innocent dog.
So that's it, Lucas, right? Like, do what I like to do, and now just go through the steps that led to this like being posted. Because it's really, really weird.
Yeah, they had to sit down and go through what, I imagine a person with empathy would say is a difficult decision of putting a dog down.
Yeah.
But God knows about this person. And they had to put the dog down, make that horrible decision.
They had to go talk to a vet as well. That's the thing as well. Like,
Yeah.
What did the vet say?
Well, they might, I don't know what this person did. I don't know if this person literally went to a vet or a pound and was like, they might have just gone straight to a pound and went and killed the dog.
What's the one, Joe, Lucas? Let's. I don't remember the full details, so we can go find the article if you like and go through it together. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, well, I guess so. But not only did they have to go through all that, anyway, they then had to sit down, think about it, go, you know what, this makes a good story. Then they had to write out the entire story.
Yeah.
Then, pitch the article, get the article edited, and go, yeah, I'm happy with that article. Let's send that out for money. And let's share that online for everybody to see.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it now. You know what? I can just Google the girl's name. Let's just find, I'm sure it's I'm hoping it's the last article she ever wrote for that website. But you know what? I don't have much faith. Madeline
in an article that's even willing to in a website that's even willing to post the article in the first place.
Like Slate.com. The thing is, well, while I'm Googling it, there's already a Slate article shitting on people for giving up their dogs.
Oh,
the article might actually have been taken down. Let's have a look. It might have been taken down because I've only found a story. Oh, here we go. Oh, they've changed the title.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've changed the title for it because, of course, they have. It's now called When Bonnie Came Home because they're trying to humanize the dog. I'm like, no, I'm not that awful. And I'm wondering how many edits this thing has had.
Yeah.
Since
and you
that
know
happened.
that they probably edited it but didn't put in the edit notes of what they've changed. I'd be very surprised if you clicking at the top of the article, it's like, no, we changed the article and we took this line out and we made our writer not seem like a fucking sociopath.
Here we go. So when Bonnie came home, just before Christmas, I adopted a 6-year-old beagle. She was adorable and violent. Well, all beagles are. They're fucking dogs. They're hunting dogs. This is something that should be made aware. You should be made aware of before you do it. I found a resolution. Many choose, but few acknowledge. Yeah, because it makes you a fucking awful, horrendous human being. It's not acknowledged because it's not a decision you should be rewarded or applauded for. You're a fucking horrendous piece of human garbage. So last Christmas morning, I patted my bed, inviting my newly adopted beagle, Bonnie, to jump up and cuddle. My boyfriend, still under the covers, reached out to pet her soft little head, which is now wedged between us. I turned away to grab my phone. It happened. A guttural bark, followed by a human scream. I whipped around to see my boyfriend's hand covered in blood. Before I could figure out how to help him, he was out the door on his way to urgent care. It was Bonnie's second bite in the week since I'd adopted her. It's almost like adopted dogs can't be fucking coddled immediately and they have issues that need to be addressed.
Yeah, that is completely ignoring the dog's needs in every single way. Just, fuck it. A week after I adopted this dog, during lockdown for Christmas, they've double whammied it, Karl. They've got the lockdown Christmas dog and gone oh yeah, it's a rescue that is probably really vulnerable and had a lot of problems, and it's no, just lie in bed with us immediately and expect nothing to happen. Okay.
And then she continues that she got a dog trainer in and got anxiety meds for the dog. Do you know what I think the dog would have been most benefited from? Not being near this person.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're writing here I had to hide the fact I've been bitten by my dog. It's you've adopted a dog with issues. People understand.
Yeah.
These dogs need help.
They do. That's why you are they are called rescue dogs because you're meant to rescue them from a shit life.
It's my old dog was a rescue dog.
Mm-hmm.
Penny was a rescue dog. And she was very, very skittish, very, very aggressive. Especially around men. She did not like men.
And a lot of dogs have that preference of man.
Yeah, and I was a tall teenager admittedly, but I was very tall and the dog did not like me. But that took months and months of just careful training to make the dog trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And it says here, like, the trainer came back and Bonnie bit her too. With each incident, there was no growling, no toothy snarling. There are no untrainable dogs, I thought, only untrainable people. Months of failing to exhale helped me to decide. I should find Bonnie a new place to live. Maybe city life didn't agree with her reason, and a quiet existence in the suburbs was what she needed. It was tough to picture her soulful eyes staring into the face of a new owner, but I knew that for my safety and the safety of my neighbours, I couldn't continue to manage her behaviour. I was never able to anticipate what would set her off, and there was no way to control her environments on the streets of New York. I love how she's in this article where she's like, I put my dog down. I couldn't imagine giving her to another loving family who'd take care of her. So I had to make the terrible, the awful, soul-wrenching decision to murder this animal.
Oh, I couldn't handle a rescue dog in the middle of the streets on New York City. No, probably because it's a rescue dog in the middle of New York fucking city.
Here we go. I soon learned the shelter where Bonnie came from wouldn't help me. A volunteer explained that Bonnie was too dangerous to adopt out again, and their affiliated sanctuaries, including several Beagle-specific ones, declined to take her. It's almost like you were made aware of this when you adopted this dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like when she's writing this, she's trying to make it sound like, oh no, it's your problem now.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, we gave you the shit dog, it's your problem. It's like, no.
We got you, yeah.
You signed on the dotted line saying, I will take responsibility for this. And the moment that it's become, like, actually difficult, you try to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Another dog rescue organisation in New York City told me her bite history, 7 bites at a time, that specific number would grow, was too extensive for even to qualify for a special rehabilitation program. Both conversations ended on the same topic, behavioural euthanasia.
I just can't get over that. Like, a dog's had a shit life and reacted poorly. Well, okay, what do we do? Well, let it have another shit owner. Okay. Yeah. Well, after that, put it down.
I also love that thing as well. This dog needs to learn how to trust somebody. What will I do? The only person who's willing to take it on, murder it.
Yeah.
So you know what? The dog was right. The dog's 100% right to be this aggressive and apprehensive around her, because she almost immediately went to murder. And I don't care. She's like, oh no, I was like, I got a trainer in and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you should have stuck with it. It's almost like it's a fucking life and it takes more than a couple of weeks to sort this out.
Well, yeah, someone in my church just said, imagine doing this to an adopted child. This adopted child is really aggressive. Just kill it. It's fine.
It says that she put a post out on a site, on a private site for rehoming, explaining the dog's condition and what it needed. And she's like, oh no one accepted. If only she'd have had access to a wider resource than a private website with a couple hundred users at most. I can't think of anywhere a writer for Slate would be able to put a story like that out. Can you, Lucas?
No, nowhere. No.
I can't think of anywhere this author could have made it known that she's got a dangerous dog. Or not a dangerous dog, that's a bad way of putting it.
A dog that needs a better home.
Yeah, I'm not sure where she... that's the thing, she could have just wrote an article I've got this dog, I can't look after it, can someone help me? And that would have been all... people would have fucking taken it. Because that's the first thing she got when this story went viral. It's I would have taken it. I specialise in this kind of thing.
And I just... Yeah, there's that. That it would have been simple to write an article and probably someone would have helped them out. But at the same time, it's we don't even know the actual full extent of the story, because this is a highly edited, and probably edited after they've posted it as well, article to make the woman's side of the argument sound sympathetic.
Lucas,
I want to get the dog in on the conversation and find out the dog's side of the story.
Oh man, that'd be great. Lucas, even if I did somehow find someone to take Bonnie, I wondered whether it would exacerbate her already crippling anxieties. As the weeks went by and no new options appeared, I realised I had a choice. I could send her off with a stranger one day, someone she would almost certainly injure, who would perhaps end up euthanizing her anyway, or I could allow her to leave this terrifying world peacefully with someone she loves. Or was there someone else in this story we're not aware of? Because that's the thing,
Doesn't seem like she loves you.
Lucas, I had two choices. I could have taken the chance that would let the dog live, or I can murder it right now.
Yeah, this is what
Lucas, there was no other option.
This is a very obviously edited story to the point of I need to make myself sound sympathetic. Oh, that I had a choice. do I potentially let a stranger get really harmed by this dog, or do I murder the dog myself in cold blood?
It's like, leave the world peacefully with someone that she loves.
It's like, well, there's no one in this story that sounds like she loves, because she certainly doesn't love you.
Yeah. Lucas,
not getting putting down peacefully. Yeah. Just no putting it down.
No, it's terrifying. Like Penny, we had to put her down. Like she had cancerous growths all over her body, and I remember the day. It was I think it was me and my brother. That's the thing. I don't really remember it that well because it's like so upsetting. Where we took her for a walk, and she got like 40 foot out the front door and could not move. And like I think it was me or my brother had to run in crying like she can't move, and then like my stepdad had to come and carry the dog home. Mm-hmm. And like she could not get off the sofa, like she could not move, and that's like when we took her to the vet, and the vet's like, "There's nothing we can do."
Yeah.
And like my mum said, even then, the last thing she was doing is panicking because she's in a strange place she doesn't know. Like, and that's the thing of like when they put it, it's being framed as like, oh no, the dog like peacefully drifts away. It's like, no, the dog panics.
Yeah.
Because it's somewhere it doesn't know with someone it doesn't know. But yeah, behavioural euthanasia is not a decision made out of convenience. Typically, it enters the conversation once the safety situation with a dog, cat, or other animal deteriorates beyond an acceptable level of risk. Said Christopher Pochell, a veterinary behaviourist with the instinct dog behaviour and training. There isn't a universal approach to every situation. Often if the police are involved, it's up to the pet's owner to decide what level of risk they can live with. So even in her defence of herself and this decision, she says, like, there's no law that says I had to do this.
There's no actual science involved in this. It's just people generally saying your dog might be dangerous. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah, it's like, what level of discomfort are you willing to live with?
And clearly, like, this person was not willing to live with any discomfort, Karl.
Well, that's the one you get. It's when you get that legendary Garfield edit someone did, where it's like Garfield saying, I hate Mondays, or like calling John like a piece of shit, and John's like, I can legally have you killed whenever I feel like it. Yep. So, and here we have a quote here from Mr. Pochell. If you're the one who finds yourself in this situation where you're actively considering it, choosing to rehome is hard. Choosing to push forward with the treatment you know is unsafe is hard. Choosing to make significant accommodations to make it safe, even though it's not easy, that's hard. Choosing to euthanize is hard. It is, but at the same time, when there's another option, like I said with my dog, like, there was literally no, like, it was like this dog is like, it cannot move. Yep. It is like riddled with cancerous growths. Like, there's no more that like science can do to help this dog. Like, if it can't eat, like they even said, like, it can't eat. Like, the dog cannot eat, it cannot drink, it will just die of starvation or like thirst before this day is out. And then she's like, oh, and then there's this guy here, he's like, he gives you like 6 other, like, keep his mind as well. Do you know when she says up here, I had 2 options? The guy that she's quoting to defend her gives like 5 different options.
Oh, God. But so, Karl, that might have potentially been putting a stranger at risk.
It could have been, yeah. A stranger who would accept the risk and would hopefully be like, you know, more of a fucking Don than you.
Yeah.
So I desperately wish someone would come and assess my personal level of risk, something only I could do. It was an excruciatingly lonely decision to make, which is why I shared it online. But when I turned things over in my head, I came up with this. In a comfortable and loving home, Bonnie was always on the defence. Maybe it's because, like, the thing is though, dogs are a lot smarter than people give them credit for. They're very instinctual creatures. I reckon just the dog knew that she was constantly thinking about murdering her.
Like, it doesn't seem as though they were like good owners in the first place.
No.
Like, especially when you went through all of this trauma and decided, I could write this up.
Yeah. But that's the thing that gets me though. It's like, where it's like, oh, the dog feel like, you know, the dog's in a safe and loving home. It's like, but you were actively talking about killing it for about 3 months.
Clearly, the dog didn't feel safe.
Like, that's the kind of thing where the dog can know. Like, if dogs can smell cancer and tell people you're going to have a heart attack, they can tell when you're planning to kill them. Lucas, though, you need to feel bad, though, because on the phone, I wept quietly as I made Bonnie's appointment.
Cool.
Bonnie's last day came sooner than expected. Yeah, imagine what it felt like being the dog. On a quiet Sunday morning while I pet her on the floor, she inexplicably snapped at my face, though her mouth clamped down harder on my boyfriend's forearm instead of my cheek. When he jumped up, she held on, piercing wounds in his arm and a hole in his sweatshirt. Fucking yes, leave him. Leave them with some wounds. Remember me. That's the thing. If I'm going down, I'm going down swinging. I'm gonna make sure.
Oh, you've booked my murder. You've like booked my appointment for my murdering. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get some fucking damage in.
No, let's see how people are gonna love you with a messed up face. I'm gonna mess your face up so bad that no, everyone's gonna be like, "Why'd your face get messed up so bad, though?"
And it's like, well, I called up the vet, told them to murder my dog, and it somehow didn't like that decision.
Lucas, I was so stricken with fear from a beagle, a 4-pound beagle.
I mean, don't get me wrong, fully grown beagles, they could do some damage.
But at the same time, it's like, I'm fearful. It's like, as well, every single one of these times where the dog attacks her, she says, I went out to touch the dog and it didn't like it. At any point, did you realise maybe the dog doesn't like being fucking touched?
Yeah.
I've been like, making a mental note. Every single time they talk about the dog biting someone, it's because they touched it.
The dog bit this person, and then they bit another person, and the same thing happened. I wonder if there's like something in common in this scenario that we should avoid doing.
Like literally every single one of the occasions where the dog snapped is like I reached out to pet the dog, and then it didn't like it. It's like those stories you hear, isn't it? Like like people have wild animals as pets.
Oh right, yeah.
And they have like I don't know, like a tiger or a lion, and then the lion turns on them. And they have all these videos of like petting the lion like a pet. And like, oh, it's so calm, it's so calm. And then one day the lion snapped. It's like maybe it's because it's a fucking lion. And you're reaching out to touch. It's like with horses. You ever seen the thing with horses where they will instinctually kick at anything out of their peripheral?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the only way to avoid that is when you walk around the back of a horse. It's a pro tip if you live near a horse or you plan on going near a horse. Do not walk behind a horse ever, or a donkey or a mule. Do not do it. It will kick you and likely kill you because their kicks can like dislocate your jaw or snap your neck. You put your hand on the horse and keep it on the horse as you go behind it so it knows that you're there.
So it knows that, oh, this person that's in contact with me is the thing that's behind me. Because
and
rightly so, as a, just instinct in life, something that it's just got within its like evolutionary chain is just like,
it's how it survived.
If something comes up behind you, that means it's hunting you. Just kick back to try and stop it. Like you see on documentaries, same with like zebras, for example, and a lot of the
they just kick out
these different kind of animals is just kick back because that will protect you from getting hurt.
It's also as well, I bring that up because I can't think of an animal that is more domesticated than the horse. Like, it is literally an animal we have domesticated to use as a beast of burden. Like we use it as it's literally a tool that we use, and even then, it still has the capability to fucking kill you.
And that's the thing is, I don't know much about horses,
but we use them as tools. They're used to like
but I was going to say, I still know that like approaching a horse from behind is just a fucking stupid thing to do.
Yeah, and it's the same thing like dogs. Like, yes, they're domesticated, but they are still animals, and there is that spark of like wolf in them. As you can no doubt attest to, like seeing Cade. Sometimes when he gets on a toy, you see that that spark of feralness in him.
Well, even then, like Cade's super friendly with dogs and always wants to play with them. But there's been a couple of times with like a lot much bigger dogs where they've been playing. The dog gets on top of Cade. And all of a sudden he feels trapped, and like you see that spark in him of like, I need to get this fucking thing off me. And it's not that he gets super aggressive, it's just like you can see like the growls and the teeth come out of like, get off me. Like I'm not comfortable anymore. And that's all it takes is like for this dog to just not feel comfortable.
Yeah. And it says here that when she went to put the dog down, due to COVID protocols, you can't be in the room with it, but she insisted. So in addition to like killing this dog, she also insisted on breaking COVID protocols, putting the doctor at risk, also the veterinarian at risk, through her own selfishness, because she wanted to feel like assuaged of guilt as she murdered the animal she agreed to take care of. And it says here, Lucy, are you ready? In the days after Bonnie was put down, I roamed my newly empty home like a zombie. I didn't sleep much. When I did, I started awake by nightmares of being bitten, crushed with guilt. I wondered if there was more that could be done to help with my sweet beagle. Yeah, not kill it. I didn't tell most people what had happened. What if they thought I was a monster for not trying hard enough?
I mean, I do. But
Instead, I made a post on Instagram so I wouldn't have to talk to the people who've been gushing over Bonnie. Rather than detail her situation, I explained she had an illness that went undiagnosed before I adopted her, and I had to say goodbye.
oh, so you straight up lied about why you killed the dog?
Yeah, it's almost like there's a stigma attached to fucking murdering dogs. It's almost like people like dogs.
So that means that she definitely knows what she did was wrong.
And that there is
but
a stigma
then
attached
decided
to
to
it.
post about it and detail it online anyway.
And that's the thing that gets me. It's like, there's nothing I could do. It's like, you literally had access to this audience. You could have made a post of like, if you just posted this and before the bit where she says, I made the decision to euthanize my dog, just said, but if there's somebody out there, I'm at my wit's end. If you can look after this dog, I will drive it to you. I will make every effort possible. I want this dog to have a good life, but I am unable to provide that. That'd be fine.
Maybe she'd have wrote that if she cared.
Yeah.
So, oh no, I had 0 options. Well, here's a list of options you had. Oh no, but I had no safety at all. I felt unsafe in my own home. It's like, okay, well, did you think to ask somebody who feels more safe with this dog to look after it? Well, no, because that's putting them at risk. I just had to murder it.
Yeah. But when you adopted the dog, you knew there was a risk, right? Because it's a rescue dog. Like, that's one of the things they tell you when you adopt a rescue dog. It's like, its behaviour, even though it looks placid, like, you need to be careful around the dog because you don't know. And like I said, when we adopted our dog, it was very skittish for the first couple of months we had it. And it was like, it was only once it learned to trust the home that it was in.
And generally speaking, any experience that I've seen with rescue dogs, because before we got Cade, we tried going down the rescue avenue, but we didn't have, like, as I said, we were living in a flat. We didn't have what they deemed like a suitable place for a rescue dog to be, so we ended up having to get Cade. And yeah, my experience is look, this is the exact needs and wants of the dog, and this is the history of the dog.
Yeah.
Here's what level of experience you'll need. Here's whether it likes other dogs, whether it likes cats, what it can and can't be around. Like, sometimes it was just straight up, look, this is probably going to have to be for like a single woman because it hates men and it hates kids and stuff like that, and it's just had a bad experience. And yeah, generally speaking, these rescue centres will detail everything you need to know before you adopt the dog.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where, like, if she'd have just been some random person on the street, I can understand. But when you've got access to an audience like this, you could so easily just make this post and just say, look, I've got a fucking dog. Like, you've got, like, at the very least, make that the last step.
Yeah.
Make that the last thing that you try.
I have no other option before I have to, like, behaviourally euthanize this dog.
Just do the Android 16s. Like, I have no other option, and just self-detonate on the dog.
Well, I mean, at least then, she would have self-detonated.
Like, if you're going to do that, like, at the very least, like, because she just says, like, I took the dog to the fucking vet and killed it. If you're going to do that, give it, like, 50 hamburgers.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, just go to McDonald's and buy, like, 5 Big Macs and just put them on the floor.
It's going to die anyway. Give it the best goddamn day of its life.
Yeah, like, cook it a fucking steak.
Mm-hmm.
And so, oh, no, that would have been expensive and time-consuming. It's fucking die. It's like, even death row inmates get a last meal.
That's true.
Yeah, fucking give that
whatever
to
they want.
Yeah, within reason. Get it to your dog.
Yeah, obviously.
Enjoy what he wants to do. He wants to fucking tear your boyfriend's eyeballs out. Fucking let it go. Just put man and, like, dog in the arena, like, do. But it says here that she later found a Facebook group for people who had to make the difficult decision to euthanize their dog for behavioural reasons. And Lucas, you are going to fucking love this quote. That's at the banner image for the Facebook group. Oh, no. If love was enough, you'd still be here.
No.
Oh.
No.
So they're basically blaming the dog. It's your fault. It's your fault that you didn't respond to me trying.
So that's just, well, I loved you, but this is all your fucking fault.
Yeah, you're blaming it on the dog, an animal that has, like, no higher brain function, and you're a human being.
A dog that also is dead and can't defend itself.
Let the dog, like, this is where I want, like, Judge Judy to come in.
Mm-hmm.
I want, like, Joe, though, you have those mediums as spiritualists who say they can talk to, like, the dead.
Get Bonnie in. Let Bonnie tell her side.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Joe, you can get them. Get one of them, and then get those people who say they can talk to dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And get those to team up and bring the dog's ghost in and hear its side. I want that. I want that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, Lucas, you get on TV and there's a dog trainer who can fix any problem in 23 minutes with commercial breaks. So we have this idea that everything can be fixed, and I thought that too when I started off in shelters, and when I started off as a trainer. But eventually I realised that I'm just not good enough. So fuck it, murder a dog.
Yeah. Eventually I realised effort would be needed.
Are you ready though, Lucas? Like the website, like the group's called like Lulu's, or something like that. I think the Lulus are the most loved pets of all. Trying is hard, but I think to stop trying is much harder. It's Lucas, did you know giving up is way harder than trying? Like, they're basically saying here, like, you know what the real hard part is? Giving up and stop trying. like,
how do you even argue with that person?
You can't argue with someone who's like, look, giving up's the hardest thing. It's like, no, it's literally
not.
Because you just admit, I don't want to try anymore.
You fucking bellends.
I wish the people listening to this after I could see Lucas's face. He's getting so mad.
And I'm really sorry for like everybody who stuck around, like someone in my chat.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. Like, that's the what.
Like
this
solidifying my hatred for humanity, and I'm really sorry.
But Lucas, it's darkly fascinating, isn't it? To have a view into like that's the thing. How often do you get a chance to view in like have a glimpse into the psyche of somebody like this?
Oh, I know, yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like I said, this is something that people do. Like it's obviously something that people do, but they don't talk about it. They don't proudly admit to it and then invite public comment on a forum.
Well, I just got a message from Jenna, my girlfriend, who's downstairs. Just say, "Is everything okay?" It's like, no, it's not. Everything isn't okay. Dogs are getting murdered, Jenna.
Sometime after I said goodbye, I took a trip to my parents' house. After months of pandemic separation, I was reunited with my family and our dog Lady, a goofy 10-year-old beagle. When I stepped through the front door, the click, click, click of her nails on the tile floor sent me into a panic. She's trying to, she's got PTSD from a fucking beagle.
From murdering a dog.
Unaware of my newfound fear, she lazily plopped down by my side, her face much greyer and much rounder than Bonnie's. I marvelled at how gentle she was. My heart rate slowed and something clicked. Lady was a healthy dog. Clearly Bonnie was not. I could not possibly picture her acting so carefree. I miss Bonnie dearly and desperately wish I could have watched her dart around my parents' yard, with a solace in knowing that she isn't afraid anymore. So Lucas, thoughts?
I really hoped, she lived her life in absolute fear of every dog ever in the world. And I wish she did get PTSD from this.
It's just like...
The dog didn't even get a chance to get PTSD.
Like, it's that thing as well, isn't it? Like, it's the fact that they so proudly post it on. That's what's the fascinating aspect and the thing that I'm so curious about. And why it's like...
Not only did you go through all this process, but you decided to defend yourself online about it.
And then found a way to justify it to yourself. And while that's the thing that gets me, there was no other option. As you I couldn't find anyone who was willing to take the dog, as you post to an audience of several 100,000. It's like I couldn't find anyone willing to take this dog. Like, have you ever watched those shows? Like they do on the BBC all the time. I think it's Paul Grady does it, the comedian and presenter, where he's he's a patron of a lot of dog charities. So he has a show every couple of months, I think, and where it's just like, oh, here's just Paul O'Grady's charity dog drive, where it's just like, here are some dogs that have been in adoption centres for a really long time, and they go through all of their problems, and they say the household that adopts this dog will need to have this, and this. If you fit that criteria, call this number. And every time that happens, all of those dogs get adopted by families who they see it tugs their heartstrings, they realise we fit that criteria, we can adopt this dog.
Yeah.
And now imagine if Paul O'Grady went on TV and look, we're here, here's just the collars of all the dogs that we put down because we couldn't be asked to find someone to look after them. And here's the people who feel really bad about doing it. Last
week, a couple of these dogs didn't get adopted, so rather than try again, we just got them put down. Sorry.
Yeah. We're really sorry. And it's and you imagine him sat there on national TV going, we literally could not think of anything else to do. We tried, we put a Facebook post out, we went online to a forum of 80 people, no one responded. We can't think of a way we could have tried harder to get the message out there to people about the adoption of this dog. Anyway, it's what? Oh, Sir Lucas,
No.
yeah.
Karl,
Yes.
because, like, obviously, you know that was something we were meant to talk about from my
There was,
side
yeah.
last week.
There
So
was.
let's just quickly round out with, like, something a bit more positive, shall we?
Okay.
So
So
this
I think
is,
it goes
like,
without saying, though, fuck that person.
fuck that person, indeed.
Fuck that
and
per-
fuck
like-
that everybody on that Facebook group that have done it as well.
Yeah.
But, so, Karl, this is something that, again, was trending last week on Twitter, so we're behind the news.
We are, yeah.
Last week.